Welcome to the Birth Squad, the podcast designed to empower birthing individuals with real insights from two Black female physicians. We're here to guide you through your health journey, one episode at a time. I'm Dr. Kamisha Thomas.
And I'm Dr. Ijalma Bello. We are two OBGYNs and longtime best friends, and we're here to help navigate you through the world of reproductive health.
Real women, real stories, real experts, and the facts you need to know.
Tune in every other Sunday, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
Ready to join the squad? Let's get into it.
Hey squad, welcome back. As you know, we've talked a lot about birth, postpartum, and taking care of you. But today we're going to get into the kitchen. In this episode, we're joined by Kathleen, who's a celebrity chef and Food Network star, who's bringing us her top mom hacks for healthy family meals.
Because feeding your family shouldn't feel like a full-time job. We're talking quick tips, nourishing food, and keeping it real for busy moms everywhere.
Let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 3 of the Birth Squad podcast. This episode is extremely just so exciting because we are reconnecting with one of our really long-term friends, Kathleen, who we went to college with, also known as Chefleen. And so we're just so happy to have you, Kathleen. Welcome to the Birth Squad.
Thanks. So happy to be here. So happy to make it happen. Finally, Season 3. I've made it.
Yes. Well, you are an amazing person and you have, such a wealth of knowledge and a wonderful journey. So do you mind just introducing yourself to our listeners and share a little bit about who you are and your journey as a chef to become Chefleen?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a chef now for like 15 years. After we went to college and got these amazing undergraduate degrees from UC Berkeley, I was like, I guess I'll be a chef, which is like a crazy plot twist, right? And I went to culinary school, and then right out of culinary school, I got a job with Will and Jada Smith as like a kitchen assistant. And then I kind of worked my way up there to be like one of their main chefs. And really, like, I could say the rest is history because like once I had that taste of private chef life, I really just enjoyed the experience of like cooking in people's homes and like seeing it's not just about the food, it's about like the entire experience. And at the Smith household is where I learned like how to throw events and things like that. So I was there in LA for 2.5 years. I also did I did a restaurant job. And then I moved to New York and I just was living my best life from 25 to 30. Freelancing in the city, I landed a job with a pretty high net worth family out here. And I worked with them in the Hamptons and in the city. And I kind of built what it meant for me to be a private chef. And I also started a blog and YouTube and was doing all the things. And then I decided to work on a cruise ship when I turned 29. And I worked on a cruise ship for 5 months, but I met my now husband right before I got on that cruise ship. So after the first contract, he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I guess I'll get off this ship and be with you, which it worked out. We're together and we have a kid. But then after that cruise ship experience, I was on Chopped. And that's when I really started to be a lot more entrepreneurial minded and freelance for a lot of different people and did catering and really began to refine what it meant for me to be a chef and which path I wanted to go in this industry.
What an amazing story and such an interesting story of all the different twists and turns. And you mentioned that you met your husband and now you have a child. And this is a question we ask all of our interviewees. Can you share with us what your path to motherhood was?
My path to motherhood was a surprise. So Chris and I met in 2017 and he was living in Atlanta. He moved to New York in 2018. And right before COVID, we had gotten engaged in 2019 on New Year's Eve. I will say, for all the devastation COVID caused, around the world and, all the deaths, and it's, really, really terrible thing to happen. It brought Chris and I, very close together. And I was actually very grateful I was not a parent at that time because I can only imagine now, even, having a 3-year-old, what that meant during that time. But we used to joke in the summer because we had, date night experiences. We used to get creative, do all kinds of fun stuff. And we used to joke well, we can't have the wedding we want. We might as well have a baby. And it was literally a joke until it wasn't. The funny thing is because everything was mixed up during COVID. So I couldn't get an appointment with the person that I needed to get my birth control re-prescribed. It was the time that I needed to see someone to do it. And I just never figured it out. And I told Chris, I was hey, so, I'm not on birth control, so it's a high chance. But he thought he thought if you've been taking birth control for a long time, then you have a longer time to get pregnant.
That is not how it works, folks. At home if you're not ready.
Completely opposite. So yeah, that's how I became a mom. Like, I kind of knew probably around like 6-ish weeks, like something was different. And then I took an at-home pregnancy test and I was like, oh yes, this is a thing. And then yeah, Nola was born in 2021. So we still ended up getting married. We got married in a smaller way in my parents' backyard. And like everything in life hit us at the same time. Got married, had a baby, all of the things.
What a
You
journey.
just share with us, about your pregnancy and birth experience a little bit?
Yeah, so I think like being pregnant was probably the healthiest I've been in my entire life. I had a really luckily like easy pregnancy. Like my biggest complaint was towards the end. I had terrible heartburn. But like generally I was healthy. I was fine. Me and my best friend did yoga like virtually every like twice a week, which was cool, a nice way to connect with her. And I will say like it really opened my eyes to like the unhealthy lifestyle I was living before because like, living in New York, it's very fast paced. Everything is like centered around alcohol. Like, let's grab a drink, like let's drink wine, let's whatever. And so Chris and I actually, again, it was like coming out of COVID. So we still weren't out in the world in the way it used to be, but like we would have people over. And I started to recognize, I'm like, wait, we just did bottomless brunch and now we're taking shots because I couldn't, right? I'm like on the outside now. I'm like, maybe that's not like the healthiest thing for us all. So it really made me confront my relationship with alcohol, especially, and just how that can like affect just even like one glass of wine. You don't wake up as bright and like happy as you normally were. Like during pregnancy, I was waking up at 7 o'clock, full of energy. Like it was great. Yeah, it was. I felt good being pregnant.
Okay, Kamisha, I love what Kathleen just shared because it's so real. For a lot of women, pregnancy is the first time that they really stop and tune into their body.
Yes, it's like a reset. All of a sudden, you're reading labels, skipping the second coffee, saying no to bottomless mimosas, and not just because you have to, but because you want to feel your best for that baby.
And that awareness, that's powerful. It's the perfect moment to start building habits that will not only support your pregnancy, but also lay down the foundation for a healthier family.
So let's talk about the essentials. If you're expecting or plan to be, here are a few things to prioritize. Number one, folic acid. This is crucial for baby's brain and spine development. Think leafy greens, lentils, and your prenatal vitamin. Number two, omega 3s. These are found in fatty fish like salmon or flax seeds. They support the baby's brain and keep your inflammation down. Number three, hydration. The amniotic fluid isn't going to build itself, so drink up. Number four, limiting alcohol, toxins, and ultra processed foods. What you skip also matters just as much as what you include.
And I'll add a few more tips here because your pregnancy habits can 100% shape your postpartum lifestyle too. So, for one, think about colorful plates. The more variety in your fruits and vegetables, the better. Think antioxidants, fiber, and all the good stuff that your body craves. Another thing to prioritize is protein with every meal. This helps with energy, blood sugar balance, and muscle repair, especially important in pregnancy and recovery. Also, don't forget to walk it out. Daily walks are simple but also so effective for circulation, mood, digestion, you name it. And finally, balanced snacks. Pair carbs with fat or protein, like apple with almond butter, crackers with hummus. Keep it steady, not sugary.
This isn't about being perfect. It's about making sustainable choices.
Exactly, and it's not just for baby, it's for you. The goal is to carry these habits into postpartum and beyond. A healthy mom creates a ripple effect on the whole household.
So whether you're cutting back on alcohol, adding more veggies, or just going for a daily walk, celebrate that. You're already showing up for your baby in big ways.
And those choices, they don't have to stop after the baby comes. Let this be the start of a lifelong commitment to your wellness and for your family.
Now let's get back to the conversation where Kathleen discusses her postpartum healing and recovery.
One thing I love about you, Chefleen, is your meal preps that you do, and you share that with the world on Instagram with your lives. During your pregnancy, how did your meal preparation change either during or after, like in the postpartum period?
Yeah, so I am kind of a weird person generally, like when it comes to eating. Like I don't eat 3 meals a day. I will say being pregnant, like I was way hungrier than I usually am. And so again, like it kind of like uh made me healthier, right? Like you should be eating 3 meals a day. And I think I just got into that habit, like cooking for people. Like as soon as I get to work, I'm tasting stuff, but I'm not like allowing myself to sit down and like eat a meal until like their food is all done. So I will say like it made me a little bit more regular eater generally. And I eat pretty healthy anyway. Like it wasn't like I made drastic habits. I didn't like cut anything out. I mean, besides alcohol, but like I eat in terms of meal prep. I will say I was not even great, even though like I preach it to the world and I think it's really good. I was not great at meal prepping for myself until Nola like actually started eating. So probably around 9 months because kids need 3 square meals a day and put you on that routine. And I have found, like, as a mom entrepreneur, like doing all the things, it is so much easier to take like an hour, hour and a half and like cook like 5 things. So then, like, when that time comes for her to eat, I'm just like, okay, pasta, here's broccoli, like, here's this. Like, it's like 1,000 times easier than like having to cook and like watch her and then like want to spend time with her. Like, I can't do it's too much to do all three, especially after you've worked all day, right? So meal prepping, I think I got really into it as like for my own personal self, like when she started eating more.
Yeah, this is something that I think is really popular in the media now and social media specifically is people are anticipating their postpartum journey. They're in their postpartum period and they are looking for information about like, what should I be eating? How can I meal prep? There's literature even on it, like the first 40 days. Do you have any like quick recipes or ideas that you recommend or you use that are like nutritious and helpful for people in their postpartum journey?
Yeah, so I don't like prescribe by any particular eating style, right? Like I think that people should eat whatever feels best for their body. And for some people that's high like super high protein and for some people that's like more vegetarian. Like you really have to like be in tune with your own body to know like what you like. Like some people dairy is like, the worst, right? I could eat cheese every day, every meal. Like and it has no like ill effects to me, at least like energy wise, right? So but I do think in your postpartum period, like I do think I like a lot of like the Eastern way of thinking of like how you should fulfill your body, like with warming foods, soft foods, because your body has just been through like low-key trauma. Like giving birth is trauma. So you want to like take care of your body as best as possible. And so you don't want to make your body work too hard to like break anything down. So one of the really amazing things, I didn't tell you guys this, but I had a home birth. And one of my best memories of having that home birth is like after I had given birth, my birthing team like brought me soup. I had made the soup like before I gave birth, but like they just brought me the broth. And I just will never forget that feeling of being like just so taken care of in my own space, like drinking this warm, nutritious meal after they tried to force feed me honey because I was in labor for too long and they're like, you need energy. I will never forget that feeling because it's just like so warming. There's nothing like a nice broth to make you feel better. So yeah, I would say like soft foods, really like high vegetables. You kind of want to save, especially for the first 3 weeks, I think like away from like raw stuff, because again, it just takes your body a little bit more to process it. And it's also just hard, like it's hard to eat. It doesn't feel comforting to eat a salad. It's good for you, but it's not like this makes me feel good. You want to eat like comforting good foods.
Yeah, Kathleen, I love that part of your birth or post-birth story that you just shared about how like getting that warm soup from your support team and how much that meant to you and really how that was one of the defining moments that you really remember. So that leads me to this question about like how can family or friends best support a new mom postpartum? Because, like you just mentioned, they've been through a lot of trauma physically, and then now they have this new baby that they're having to take care of. And so all these responsibilities that existed before delivery, it makes it a little bit harder. So do you have any ideas or ways in which people can create like meal trains or like food related gifts to support new moms?
Yeah, I think like if you want to support a new mom, well, first step, I think the new mom really needs to like check in even before your new mom, right? Check in with yourself and make like kind of like a postpartum plan of like how you think you might feel because you might feel differently also, and like recognize like who you are. Like do you want a lot of people around? Do you want no one around? Like obviously everyone has to eat, so food is an integral part of this plan and probably the part that would not change. So I do think like meal trains are great. Like if a friend wants to help organizing different friends to create different meals as the birthing person, you can like tell your friends like what kinds of food do you like. Another thing, I think like soups are really great, and soups are great because they can freeze. So, you can freeze them in like little deli cups, and then they can just sit in your freezer for whenever you're ready. Like everyone has to eat all the time. So like even like seamless carbs, right? Maybe not the healthiest, you're not going to get, but like sometimes you just want a piece of pizza, and food is always welcome, like no matter how it comes. So yeah, I think meal trains, just making something that can be frozen so the new mom can use it. But of course, like always just checking in with that person before like you just stop by and be prepared to just be like, here's your soup. Okay, bye.
Right. 100%.
I think that's great advice. I think a lot of times people feel kind of helpless about how to help somebody. And then there's sometimes that people, like you said, don't want anybody in their space, or feel uncomfortable asking for help. And I think food is such a uniting thing for so many of us, and it's an easy way for people to contribute.
Kathleen is spot on. When it comes to postpartum, food is more than comfort, it's medicine.
And it starts with knowing yourself before baby even comes. Do you like a full house or do you need quiet? Do you want visitors or just meals left at the door? Know your energy and build that into your postpartum plan.
But let's be real, everybody has to eat. But new moms are rarely eating well. That's where a meal train can be a total game changer. Ask your people to coordinate or assign one friend to be the meal captain who keeps it all organized.
Let's talk nutrients. Postpartum is a time of deep healing, so your body needs real nourishment. For example, iron rich foods. Think lentils, spinach, beef, or chicken thighs to help rebuild blood after delivery. We also need healthy fats like avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil to support hormone balance and brain health. Additionally, like we mentioned earlier, omega-3s, so wild salmon, chia seeds, or flax seeds to support your mood and reduce inflammation. And always protein. Eggs, chicken, beans, these are critical for tissue repair and staying energized.
Also important is getting energy from complex carbs like sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice. These help keep your blood sugar stable and support milk production. Don't forget about antioxidants again, like berries, leafy greens, colorful fruits and vegetables that help fight oxidative stress and help speed up your healing. And again, do not forget hydration, especially if you're breastfeeding. Water is your best friend. Herbal teas and red raspberry leaf can really help support your recovery.
Freezer-friendly meals like soups, stews, and slow cooker recipes are gold. Even better, portion them out into small containers so you can grab one on the go when you've got 5 minutes and a free hand.
And if cooking's not your people's thing, delivery cards are great too.
Just always check in before you drop by. And if you're delivering food, keep it simple. Here's your soup. Love you. Text me if you need anything. These are things that you can ask your family to do for you.
Because the best support isn't just practical, it's respectful. Nourish the mom, not just the baby. And that's how we help her heal and thrive. Now let's get back to Kathleen.
You mentioned earlier a little bit how your daughter has influenced the way you approach food. Is there any other ways that you can think of that being a mom has influenced the way you approach not only like being a chef, but your career and as you create food for clients? Have you noticed anything that has been affected?
Yeah, I feel like, I've always worked for families before. Like I mentioned, the very first job I ever had was for a family. Their kids were 4 months and 4 years old at the time. So that actually, I was just telling someone recently, like how she parented actually kind of affects how I parent also, because I was just in their house so much and like watching these small kids grow up. And so in that place, I also learned like what kinds of things and reactions kids have. Kids are like naturally curious about food, and people are always amazed. Like Nola's such a good eater. Like she literally like drinks olive juice. It's like the weirdest thing. And she like tried an oyster like when she was like 18 months. Like she'll just try it. Like she didn't like it. She was like, oh, that was disgusting. But she tried it, right? And people are always amazed by that. And what I have to say to like people that have picky kids or whatever, because I think that's another huge problem a lot of parents deal with is like, my kid won't eat anything. And my observation as a chef expert, not like a psychologist, is I think a lot of times parents place a lot of their own anxiety on their kid, or like if you really want something to happen, your kid can feel that and then like kind of rebels in a way. Like I know they're so young to be rebelling, but like it's like, ugh, it's just too much, too much. So I think like my lackadaisical attitude when it came to Nola's eating, like I was all into baby led weaning, but like I had to check myself because like I don't know if you've ever seen a parent like feeding their kid and they're like, don't choke, like don't do that, don't do that. It's like I would literally sit there and in my mind I would be like, oh my god, like this is too much. Or even now, when I do cooking classes for kids, like they're chopping or doing something hot, and I'm like, it's like it's a lot. But like if you say that out loud, then that like makes the kid retract. So I think like becoming a mom, I mean, I already had the experience like working in people's homes, but becoming a mom has really like shown me the benefit of like how lackadaisical, like just keep it cool kind of attitude has an effect on like how your kid eats and moves in the kitchen, and like how you eat and how you think about eating really is like a all encompassing thing, right? It's kind of like self confidence too, like how you view yourself, how you feel your body. So yeah.
And that's really a French, kind of like a French mindset. Like a lot of people in the French community, they teach their kids very early on to be active in the kitchen, to cook, to eat, have a healthy, like well balanced diet. So I think that your observations are a reflection of how other cultures approach food, which is really important. And just allowing people to have that curiosity in the kitchen, I think has a lasting positive benefit on kids.
For sure. And also, like, I didn't, again, everything in moderation, right? I never was like, no sugar. Like, probably like at least five moms are like, your house was the first time I could have had sugar. But Nola is like not a sugar fiend. Like, she'll like eat a bite of a cupcake and be like, I'm good, don't need it, right? Because there was that exposure and it wasn't like held like, no, you can't have this. It's not gonna hurt you or like hurt you in the very long run, right? Warning, but
Yeah, I think you bring up really important, topics here because in the age of like, binge eating and like, a lot of consciousness about food and, self-image, it is important, the approach to which, how we parent in the beginning, right? You're like building the child's preferences, their habits and all those things. And so I think I love your approach of like not building anxiety around food, right? Being explorative, also finding your preferences, but, building this like tension between the person and food. So I love
right.
that.
It's not like you have to eat this so you can eat this. It's like, sure, you can have the chocolate chips and the chicken on the plate at the same time. Eat it at your leisure.
Yeah, balance. So looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently regarding like your postpartum planning or preparation, particularly, related to
Yes. Well, not necessarily for the food. So I actually in my postpartum journey, I hired a acupuncturist who also specializes in like Eastern healing like after birth. A lot of Eastern cultures it's like you're not moving anywhere for like 30 days. And so she came and did like the belly binding and made me like all these like different soups and things because it was like all this stuff I didn't recognize, right? But I'm like, oh, okay, she says it's good for me. I'm going to try it. I think that was really essential to like my healing in the first couple weeks, right? I will say moving forward, like moving past that first couple weeks, I wish I had taken better care of myself and allowed myself to rest more. This isn't really like to do with food necessarily, but like I literally went to work like 4 weeks after I gave birth, cooking for someone else because I had agreed to the job before having a child. And I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. Like I just cook it in my house and bring it to you. And like my only stipulation at the time was like, can I bring it at 6 in the morning because I was like, I need to have a little bit of a schedule because I'm going to have a baby. So like, I got to figure it out. She was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I quickly found out that nothing is easy when you have a child. And I do not ever want to do that to myself again. If I have another kid, like have to be back on my feet, like honest, like it was like looking back, it was crazy, like literally crazy. I'm like pumping and it was insane. So I do not recommend. I think you definitely should take at least a month or two to just give yourself grace to just like sit down and watch Netflix, no matter how on the go busy kind of person you are.
That is like crazy. That is so intense,
yeah.
most people get 6 weeks for vaginal delivery at minimum and then do like extra time for like mother baby bonding. So 4 weeks is a tiny amount of time.
It was wild. Like, I don't know. I also don't even know how I did that. Like, at the end of it was only a 6-week contract, but at the end of the 6 weeks, I was like, I hate my life. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's exhausting. That's really exhausting. Like you've mentioned multiple times how in other cultures They don't even leave the house. They don't lift anything. They don't do anything. And I wish our society was a little bit similar to that, like a little bit closer to that ideology. There's also a lot of what you hear of like postpartum centers where they take care of you for like the first 2 weeks. Like they take care of the baby, they clean your room, like they do all these things. So I think it's very American of us to think like I have to be doing something to help. And really your job is just to figure out what does your baby need, what do you need, in this really difficult, hard transition. And
Yeah.
I think for people like you, like they're a little bit fortunate that like you have the skills to know how to do things quickly, especially when it comes to meal prep. There are so many people out there who like they don't cook, right? Like they are like DoorDash, like, and that's okay. But I think when you become a mom, you're then very overwhelmed because you're like, well, I think I should be cooking or I should be, making healthy food during this postpartum period, or my partner should, and they don't know how. So, do you have any advice for like not just moms, but like their partners too, like for ways that they can cook or eat healthy during this time, especially if they're not the most experienced in the kitchen?
Yeah, I think one of the things you said that really resonated was like there's a pressure too, right? It's like I should be doing this like for myself, which can pressure also can be very crippling because it's like, okay, I don't even know where to start. So I think that I mean throughout your pregnancy, it's a little bit easier if you don't have any kids already because like you still are just like yourself, like generally you're operating as your own. But I think having a plan for postpartum, at least the first 2 or 3 weeks, food is super, super important. And I mean, like I said, you can like make food and freeze it. Like I had made the soup for myself and froze it in the broth and froze it in the freezer. You can look into, I'm a huge fan of outsourcing, not just because like people pay me to outsource their meal prep, but there's a lot of companies now that like can get you like decent food and not at like a super high price point. By the time I don't think enough people think about like the time that they're spending, right? Like making food requires making a plan of what you're going to eat, going to the grocery store, ordering your groceries, putting all the groceries away, making the food, cleaning it up, packing it up. Like it's a big job, honestly. And like we don't think about it because everyone has to do it. But if you have the means, outsourcing is a great option. Like in the East Coast tri-state, Fresh Direct has meals. I mean, Harlem Homemade, plug for myself, the meal company I just started. And then I know people like Factor, and there's like so many. And even some people that don't want to cook, you probably just want ready-made meals that you can just pop in the microwave or the oven or whatever. But some people do like enjoy cooking and like they find that they miss it after they have birth or after they've given birth because like they just don't have the time or capacity to think it through. So for those kinds of people, like I think those like boxes that you get the ingredients are really good because then you don't have to think about what you're cooking, but you still get to enjoy the process of doing it. So yeah, we're lucky that we live in 2024 in a way because we have lots of resources. We have to pay for them. The flip side of that is like a lot of us don't live by our families and our mom could just bring us our retired parents could just bring us the food. But yeah, there's so many options. I think just having a plan, especially for the first 3 weeks and even moving forward as your child grows, having like a weekly check-in with your partner or like just with yourself, like what am I eating, instead of then like getting to Wednesday and be like, oh my gosh, I'm just ordering pizza, like I just need it, which is fine, again, everything in moderation. But if you can have a plan, and what I have realized in my minimal capacity life as I'm building these businesses is it doesn't also always have to be complicated either, right? Like we think if we're meal planning, we need to have like all these intricate recipes, we need all these different spices. Like literally just grill yourself some chicken and blanch like 2 vegetables and you'll be much better off than if you did nothing, right? And that takes like 30 minutes of your time. And then you have chicken, you can put in a quesadilla, you could just eat the vegetables, like get a pre-made salad dressing, mix your vegetables with some beans and like eat it as a salad. Like there's so many ways to mix and match. And I think sometimes people just like overcomplicate stuff like, oh, I need to make like seafood lasagna or whatever. Like, you're like searching New York Times recipes. Like, no, just grill the chicken or bake the fish and have it in your fridge.
Okay, so Kathleen just gave us so many gems. And one of the most important, it doesn't have to be fancy to be healthy.
Yes. And that's a message we really want to hit home. Healthy family meals don't require chef level skills or a Pinterest worthy plan. It just starts with intention, not perfection.
And what we really love is this idea that your relationship with food, how you talk about it, how you planned around it, actually helps how your children relate to food in the long run.
That's right. It's not just about what you eat, it's about the culture of food in your home. Are we rushing and stressed about every meal? Or are we showing our kids that food is fuel, joy, and connection?
And we have to name it. Kids watch everything. If they hear us calling food bad or obsessing over calories, that can have a long term impact. We're talking about the potential for disordered eating, body image struggles, and chronic dieting cycles.
So let's shift the goal. Not perfect nutrition, but consistent nourishment. That might look like grilling some chicken, steaming a couple vegetables, throwing it in a wrap or a bowl or on a plate. And boom, that's a win.
And if cooking is not your thing or you're in survival mode, outsource it. Meal kits, meal trains, microwavable real food options, it's all valid. Fuel matters more than form. If we can keep a few staples in the fridge, like chicken, fish, frozen vegetables, or beans, you can mix and match your way to something nourishing fast.
So if you're listening right now and feeling overwhelmed, take a breath. Start small, nourish yourself first, and know that every step is shaping the culture of food in your family.
Because a healthy you, that's the secret ingredients to a healthy home.
So let's get back to Kathleen as she shares her final thoughts. Kathleen, you just have so many tips to share, and you mentioned that you have this new company that you just had. I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about that work, about your business, and where our listeners can find you or work with you if they're interested.
Yeah, sure. So I've been a chef, like I said, for 15 years, working mostly for like profile or like celebrity clients. These kinds of clients can pay like $600-700 a day for me to come and cook all their meals, right? And what I've noticed is when I've like posted on groups and things, people are very, very interested in meal prep, but like that is a kind of insane price point for people to pay for food. Not really, because I have lots and lots of experience, but on a daily rate, it's not really approachable for everyone. So, what I'm trying to do in Harlem, I just actually created this company 2 weeks ago, is a meal prep company where you can get 6 or 9 meals. And the menu's set every week. You can order weekly by 5 p.m. And then we buy all the food fresh Monday, we make it all, and we deliver it to your house. So, like, this week on the menu, I think we have shrimp scampi with zucchini noodles, a vegetable soup, and a turkey wrap. And I can't think of the last thing, but it's just healthy food, right? Like just good, wholesome food. And it's going to be better than like a meal prep company because it's literally 2 chefs like buying and making all that stuff. Nothing like pre-made, no like random ranch sauces, like everything is made in house. And it's at a much more approachable price point. So for the 6 meals, it's $150 a week, and for the 9 meals, it's $225. So it's like literally the same price as groceries, and you have 6 meals that you can eat all week long.
Amazing. So where can our listeners find you?
And can you come to California?
So
Can you
many of
ship
my
over to
friends are like, why are you not in this city? My mom
Yeah.
included. My mom was like, this needs to exist here. You can find it's currently housed on my Chef Lean website. It's just a page underneath called Harlem Homemade. And we have an Instagram. It's not very built out, but that'll like post the menus every week. And I do want to mention that because I really believe that you can't scale food and it still be like really good, we're going to have like it's going to be shortlisted, right? Like I will never accept more than like 30 clients a week because I just don't want the food quality to be like trash.
That's so amazing.
Thanks.
So amazing. And so many great pieces of information that you shared. If you could share one thing with the listeners, what would you want them to leave this podcast having known?
Actually, this piece of, I guess, advice or thought, things that I've learned is really just like to not overthink anything and to like trust your instincts, especially when it comes to motherhood, because everything, especially new motherhood, like everything just feels like a jumble. You don't even know who you are. And then you still have to do all the things that life requires, like go to work and eat. So yeah, just like not overthink and like spending too much time making a decision and just like make the decision. So like if you're struggling with meal prep, just try a meal prep company. Like it doesn't matter which one. If you don't like it, try another one. If you are struggling with like just eating weekly, just try setting a meeting for yourself and thinking through what you're going to do. Take 15 minutes a week to like think through what you're going to eat. Life is hard, but it is not as hard as we make it. So sometimes it's just like getting out of your own head and just trying something, right?
Thank you so much for that. That was great.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you, Kathleen,
Thank you.
and all the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
You are changing lives, you're inspiring people, you're really doing, great work. So kudos to you and keep going, girl.
Thank you. I mean, I guess you could thank Nola because like I really turned a corner when she was born. I was like, okay, I gotta get my life really together. I was together before, but now it's like, okay, I want to really make an impact on the world.
Oh, well, thank you, Noah. And thank you, Kathleen.
Thanks for having me.
joining us. Of course. Okay, squad. Well, that's the wrap on today's episode. I hope that you're walking away with the same thing I am. It doesn't have to be complicated to be nourishing. Kathleen reminded us that whether you're in the thick of postpartum or just trying to keep your household fed, having a simple plan goes a long way. From prepping a batch of soup you can freeze to grilling a little extra chicken to stretch across meals, those small steps make a big difference.
Big thanks to Kathleen, who's not only a mom and a chef, but also a competitor of season 2 of 24 in 24, Last Chef Standing on the Food Network. And if you're in New York, check out her meal prep company, Harlem Homemade, helping families eat well with ease.
Thanks for being with us today, squad. Keep your meals simple, your expectations kind, and your body well fed. We'll catch you next time. That's the wrap of this episode of The Birth Squad.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. We are going to continue sharing stories from more badass birth warriors, because at the end of the day, you are the experts of your experience, and we want to highlight you and your bold, brave, and beautiful journey to motherhood.
And we want to hear from you. Tell us about what topics you'd like to hear more about. Hit us up on Instagram at The Birth Squad, and check out our website, thebirthsquad.com.
Most importantly, be sure to share this episode with your squad.
Until next time, I'm Dr. Ijama Okwandu.
And I'm Dr. Kamisha Thomas.
Peace, love, and solidarity from The Birth Squad.